we've been doing a lot of common sense videos for a long time, but I'm gonna break things down in this one the same way as I always do. Honestly, the first part is commitment. Most of you just are at bad places in your life. You keep saying that you want to do a bunch of shit, but you don't really, because you haven't really decided that you're willing to actually do the work part. That's what, like, I would say that's 90% of people have a dream, have no real desire and drive to get there. They're kind of just, you guys are phonies. And what happens is that's where the limiting belief world comes in, right? So, step one for those people, what we do honestly is we just break down limiting beliefs. We start stripping away like how you've been brainwashed to think that you don't need to do these things. Because that's a big part of it. You guys know deep down you want to do it, but the reason you haven't committed is because 60% of you is not made up. Like 60% of your mind is that you don't need to do the stuff that you know that you need to do. So step one is like smashing out limiting beliefs off this thing of like money doesn't buy you happiness. Number one, yes, it does. It helps a lot. Number two, being in shape is superficial. No, it's not. It's the actual exercise to be healthy. And the hard thing that you need to do to gain confidence is a big one. Mental health is not this weird thing that you guys are making it. You shouldn't feel good all the time. Most of your guys' neurotic tendencies are not based on ridiculously large traumas. They're based on a lack of alignment with how you actually live your life. It's mostly choice behavior theory stuff. It's you make terrible choices on repeat. You haven't taken accountability. There's no responsibility. Most of you in that camp just need to read Stoicism and understand how to actually take responsibility for your actions. That's kind of step one, right? Once the buy-in happens, once you fools buy in, and of course that's a long process too. We're always going to be working on mindset. I still work on the mindset piece. Once you've bought in, the mindset stuff is positive self-talk and proactive instead of reactive. That will help your emotional health as well. And then another big piece of that is you kind of reframing how you actually handle day-to-day things. So it's more of an auto-correction thing, right? Then we get you on positive ingestion of positive material. So a lot of reading and reflecting in a morning process. Spiritual health comes after that. I don't even like to talk about that much because it comes so much later for people most of the time. The next piece is just planning. I want you guys to understand this. How bad you are at planning and how little you understand about scheduling and how to optimize actually doing anything is a big part of it. You're very confused. And just to kind of illuminate what I mean by that is like the first thing that we learn how to plan is a day. How do you plan your day? That's why I'm always talking about a morning process, right? So the morning process would be your plan for how you start your mornings, because normally that's the energy that you bring into the rest of your day. People call it stacking wins. From there, that's just one piece, right? This is all real common sense, but it's over most people's heads that don't get planning. So a day is a cycle. I'm going to talk about everything in cycles. A day is a cycle, morning until nighttime. So you have a morning process as a start. Middle of your day is normally where you do some work. And then the end part of your day should be where you wrap up, reflect, and have some sort of decompression, hopefully enjoyment with some loved ones in your life, especially once you get some things pieced together. That's what that should look like. The next flow would be a week. What does your week look like? A week is 7 days. Most of us work within a week and operate within a week. My flow state personally is that I take Sunday as a day of rest. A lot of people argue with me about that. That is a religious thing. That's a spiritual thing for me. I'm putting a bookend in my week. I dedicate that day to like church, worship, spending time with family members. It's just what works for me. If you need to exercise 7 days a week, do that. I don't really care. That's not my thing. So the next thing that you would look at as a flow would be a month. I use an actual calendar to plan my month. I do plan my months in the beginning of the month. On the first day of each month, I decide that I'll look at like what events I have going on. That's not necessarily the same thing as like daily and weekly. Daily and weekly looks like your productivity. When am I going to get all these things done? What do I have to take care of? Monthly, I normally look at as like, what events do I have going on? What are things that are outside of that operating system? Like things like specific date nights. If I'm going to a concert, say I bought my girl some tickets to a show or something, I'm going to put that on there because that's outside of the norm for me. When I have all those things on a monthly calendar, then when I go to do the weekly cycle, what I'm essentially looking at is, okay, what do I have that's out of the ordinary this week? That means I can kind of pivot and move some things around where I need to. It means I have a little extra planning done for the next day if I'm doing something on a Thursday night that might mean I'm going to be up later than I normally stay up, right? Then the next thing you look at in terms of cycles is seasons. And you all should get this because this one speaks to people the most. You guys aren't that dumb. Winter is cold. Summer is not. Like, summer is a lot more outside activity stuff. When I plan seasonally with a client, what I essentially do is talk about fitness. That's largely what I'm talking about. And then large scale leisure. If you're a vacation person, oh, what are you doing in this period? How many breaks are you taking from work? Are you getting enough like steps away from your routines? But when I say fitness, the most classic one is to look at everything in like 3-month segments and then to kind of branch apart like what exercise you would like to do. I change my stuff up. That's my new thing. Like, yes, I'm going to go leaner on calories. I'm going to do a bunch more cardio during the summer because it's warm here in Colorado. In the winter, I do more lifting that's inside. I do a lot more like heavy lifting stuff. Then again, in the spring, I do a bunch of mobility stuff, more calisthenic stuff. So looking at it seasonally. And then last, you have your year, which is why I always tell you guys to get 2 journals, one for your daily life. The other one that I have, I will keep forever. It has my yearly plans. I do a goals list in that same journal every single year. That looks like broken down into pieces. I do 2-year vision plans in there of like what's going to be done. I do who do I want to be at the end of this year. Some more simple personal trait stuff and tracking. The reason I love that being in its separate thing and it's only those like yearly marks is, see, I can look back in that. I can see where I was 5 years ago. I get to look back 6 pages and go, man, that's crazy. Look how far I've come. In like year 5, I was like legitimately still starting to, 5 years ago, I was still trying to quit weed. Like, look how far I've come now. Like, no vices, none of that stuff. So that's part 2, right? And I want you guys to be clear about something. I normally only talk about mindset stuff because I truly know that if I get you to buy in on that piece, that's like 90%, that the other 10% is so practical and so easy with a coach that knows actually like how to do it, that once you've bought in on the mindset piece and keep working on that, that I know I can plan anything with you. But I also want you guys to know it's 80-20. This whole idea of like, it's all internal, happiness is internal. It kind of is. 80% of it is how you feel. That's why we do the morning process stuff. That's not to get anywhere. But the other 20% is your surroundings. The better job you have, the easier it makes you to do all those things. The better schedule you have, the easier it makes it to do all those things. The better your flow state is, the better you are at planning, the easier it is to do all those things. So don't pretend that the 20% matters none, because if it was that, it'd be 100 and 0. It's 80-20, right? It's 80% internal. Your happiness is daily habits. But the other piece is like how you run your life, your family, your leisure. What things do you want to do to have a fulfilled life? What do you want things around you to look like? It's fairly easy. Hit me up if you need anything. I'm a planning master. Like, even the high level people I work with, they're like, dude, your planning is dialed. That's wild. Like, you have your weeks figured out that just in a way that makes sense and they're enjoyable to you. Your days flow properly. You have bookends at the end of your days. The way I parent with my kid has like structures. So hit me up, especially if you need help with any of that part. If you're kind of starting and you got some stuff going, hit me up if you need help with the journaling piece. Like planning, I got you on that.